As a person who's not a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, I must say this team is pretty special this year. Now, I'm not a hater. They're just not my team that I normally root for. That's why I'm saying I'm not a fan. But this team has been very special to watch this season. We just watched them knock off the defending champions in 6 games. I know a lot of people had them possibly losing this 3-1 lead. I really didn't see that ever being a possibility with LeBron James on your team. And that's what we're going to start this all off with. Honestly, he's played exceptionally this entire playoff series. The way he's pacing himself, I think everybody knows he has a pretty real foot injury. I don't know what the foot injury is specifically, but it's pretty serious and will probably need surgery come off season. But he's playing through it, and the way that he's pacing himself, based on his age and this injury, is insane. He kind of saves himself and picks his spots when he needs to. Like this closeout game, he knew they were going to need a big game out of him, and he immediately goes down to the post, where a lot of people don't understand why LeBron doesn't do that more often, because if you see him do it like he did tonight, it's unstoppable. When you got LeBron posting up and AD on the weak side, ducking in when guys help over too much, there's really not much that people can do to stop that. Like, for example, earlier in the season, I know everybody remembers that really big Bucks win that they had during the regular season. And there was a play that him and AD ran, and it was literally like LeBron was almost on the block on the left side of the wing, on the left side of the court, and he would have AD come over and set a pick literally on the block, and it was unstoppable. They scored I think 5 straight times or something on that play, and was ultimately kind of like what loosened up the Bucks defense and got them that big win early on in the season. But the reason LeBron doesn't do it is obviously because of age and because of the wear and tear it puts on his body. But a time like this, a game 6, where it's like, we ending this tonight, he can do that because he knows he's going to be off until Tuesday when the next game starts. So we talked about the first star on this team. Now let's talk about the second star. You can put them 1 or 2 however you want to. But Anthony Davis, although he's been pretty inconsistent offensively, and I don't think that the numbers tell the entire story. I think some of these games he's had the points in the teens, but he's been great offensively. So I don't think that all of these numbers tell the story. I think he's had 2 or 3 games where he's been in the teens, but if you watch the game, he was dominant even offensively. But, even with the inconsistencies on the offensive end, he has been there every single game defensively and has been dominant at it. I can't think of one bad defensive game that I've seen from Anthony Davis during this entire playoff run. And he's going to be tested come next series, so we'll see how that holds up. But Anthony Davis, I don't have a bad thing to say about him, honestly. He's been amazing this playoffs. If he played like this during the regular season, he might be a top 5 player for me very easily. So kudos, Anthony Davis. You've done more than enough so far this playoffs. Now to the part that I really, really want to talk about with this team, and that is the role players. Now, everybody talks about it. Shaq talks about it. Charles talks about it. Everybody who has won, well, Charles hasn't won one, but everybody who has played good winning basketball talks about the others, as Shaq calls them. The Lakers team has had so many people step up. It's ridiculous to see LeBron be able to have teammates that he can go to in late games when he may be tired, when the defense is keying in on him so much and he's drawing so much attention, and he can literally go stand in the corner and give the ball to Rui Hachimura. Well, not give the ball, but give the ball to D'Angelo Russell, give the ball to Austin Reeves, give the ball to Lonnie Walker in clutch moments against the defending champions. That type of stuff LeBron has just never been able to do, role player wise. He's had Kyrie, he's had D-Wade, but the teams are expecting those guys. On this team, you'd be like, oh, he'd give it to Anthony Davis. So I think of him in those roles. There's never been a point where outside of his secondary co-star, there's been a player where there's been role players on the team where LeBron can go, hey, take the ball, set the offense up, get us into something good. Don't turn the ball over. Get us a good shot. And everybody has had a game. When you think about historic teams or like really good runs from teams, you look back and you're like, okay, this player had a game. This player had a game. You know, like Jordan, Steve Kerr hit shots. John Paxson hit shots. You have these legendary games from players where you're like, yo, that was on the way to a historic run in the playoffs and stuff like that. Like Rui Hachimura has had a big game. He had a couple big games in that Memphis series early on, kind of fizzled out, but they didn't really need it later on. D'Angelo Russell, I can think of a big game he had where he started off the game. I think he scored the first 13 against the Warriors. And all these guys have chipped in here and there. I'm just pointing out their really big games. Austin Reeves, huge game. I want to say it was game 1 against Memphis where he had the whole I'm him, and he went crazy. But he's been very consistent. I have no clue how scouts missed this guy and how he went undrafted. It baffles me because if you watch him play, he plays like a 5-year veteran in the league. He draws fouls. You can tell he studies the game. He said he studied James Harden and some other guys on how to draw fouls, and I believe it. A lot of guys say they watch film, but he's watching film and actually applying it. Like I honestly, kudos to him, yo. Like, cause he is really a hooper. Like for real. Like he really gets it done, and he doesn't make mistakes. He rarely makes mistakes, and he's not what you would think on the defensive end. You would think he's a liability. I mean, most people, they look at his skin color, they look at his build, and they're like, okay, teams are just going to go at him. But they can't. Like, they can't take advantage of him on the defensive end, so the Lakers are able to play him as many minutes as they do, and he's able to bail them out in a lot of situations on the offensive end. Like, if you watch their offense, he's initiating a lot of it, especially in the middle of the games when LeBron is trying to pace himself. Then we get to Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker has had not a lot of big games, but he had some pretty big games as of late, especially in this Golden State Warriors series. Didn't get many minutes coming down the stretch of the year. Didn't get many minutes in the Memphis Grizzlies game. And then I believe he got some garbage minutes in one of the wins that the Warriors got. And it was like fourth quarter. They threw him in there just to get some garbage minutes. He played decent. And then Darvin Ham was like, all right, we're going to go to him next game. Went to him next game. And now he's back in the lineup. Played phenomenally. I think he scored 15. Didn't score all game and scored 15 in the fourth. And whatever game that was for him, played exceptionally. And then Jared Vanderbilt, he kind of got pushed out of the rotation in this last series, coming down the stretch. But early on, did a great job on Curry. His length was really bothering him. Great defensive pickup. I think that's all you can really ask for him. I don't expect him to knock down 3-point shots, but he shoots them without hesitation. He has a pretty decent form, but that's not what they're looking for out of him. They're looking for defense, and I think he definitely is going to have a role going forward if the Lakers want to continue to compete in these playoffs. Yeah, so that's everybody, man. That's really all the topics that I wanted to touch on this, on these Los Angeles Lakers. I think this team has been, I think they have exceeded expectations this year, honestly. If I were to be truthfully honest, if this is the end of the road for them, if they don't make it out of this next series, regardless of how it goes, I think that this is a successful season for them. I know a lot of people want to make LeBron's career finals or bust, but to be a 7 seed, a injury-riddled season all season, massive trade at the deadline, so much turnover, he's playing through injury. Obviously, LeBron wants to win a ring, but if he doesn't, personally, for me, I wouldn't consider this season to be a failure. But with that being said, I do have predictions on how I think this next series will go, and you can be sure to check my page for my prediction video on that. So with that, I will close this one out. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you made it this far, feel free to leave a like or subscribe or do both. So totally up to you. Thanks. Peace.